Hello and thank you for joining us today as we once again are looking at the evidence that shows we are in the last days. We saw from the last videos that in the last days they would do in like manner with their enchantments to the truth. And the truth of Christ is that he is the true vine and we are the branches in that vine and we produce much fruit while in the true vine of Christ. But in the last days they have made their own vine. They have made their own vine and we are the branches in that vine and we have produced much fruit with the name poison written across it. The ios is the Greek word poison. This is poison fruit, and there are even more indications that we are in the last days. As we see, the vine is like as of fire, which is why I have the little illustration there in a flame as we look at this next verse. In James 5:3, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust, the ios of them, shall be a witness against you, and we have seen that it is. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days, and we're going to look at this: eat your flesh as it were fire. The vine is all around us. It is underneath our feet. It is around us, in the walls, over our head, for our ceiling fans, our lighting as we go down the road. It is on the telephone poles. It is on the power lines overhead. We have been completely surrounded, swallowed, consumed by the vine, and it is as if it were fire. So let's look at this. When we see these wires, as you can imagine, sitting on the couch there, it's completely surrounded, swallowed by these wires. And when we look back at that verse, it said, it shall eat your flesh, consumed, swallowed up as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days, and we have heaped treasure together for the last days, because as we sit, we are completely consumed, swallowed by the wires. And it says, as it were fire. And when we look at the wiring, when we look at the technical names and the things that the professionals, the electricians call it, the wires that carry electricity are called hot. Those wires are called hot, as if it were fire. As we sit in our living room, let's say, and we're surrounded by the wires carrying electricity are called hot. All those wires inside our devices, in our walls, above our street, hot, hot, hot. Swallowed up we are, as if it were fire. But there's more. As we go on, we can see, as if it were fire, we are swallowed up. But the next verse from Deuteronomy 32 that we look at, but their vine, of the vine of Sodom and of the fields of Gomorrah, their grapes of gall, their clusters bitter. And we have seen that the grapes of gall and the clusters that are bitter are poison. As we saw, this is poison fruit, poison. Their vine is of the vine of Sodom. And when we look at that word, vine of Sodom, that word Sodom means burning. So once again, we have this indication, as if it were fire, vine of burning, and the wires themselves are called hot. And we see that this is again more indications that we are in the last days, as the scriptures have been fulfilled in our time, and we can verify it by looking at what the wires are called and how they're built. And we see it goes even more, because we go back to the verse where it talked about what the people of the last days would do, which is they would do what the magicians did in Exodus 7. And we go there. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments. And we look at this word enchantments. They did in like manner with their enchantments. And the word enchantments is lahat. It means flame. It only occurs 2 times in the Bible. It is translated flaming the first time, and enchantments here. This word means flame. And so that's what they did in the last days. They have done in like manner. In other words, they built a vine and became the branches in that vine and produced much fruit in that vine, but they did it with their flame, with their enchantments. And we see that's exactly what they have done. They have done this with their enchantments, their flame, their vine of burning. It has eaten up all the flesh, so much flesh, it has swallowed it up as if it were fire, because the wires that have swallowed us up are actually called hot. More and more and more. More confirmation that we are in the last days, that we can just look at this stuff, compare it to what the Bible said that it would be, and it is literally eating our flesh, swallowing us up. All these wires called hot, swallowing us up as if it were fire. I mean, you can't even make it up. It's right in front of your face. It is the last days. And we're going to continue on and see more and more in the next video. More confirmation. Thank you again for watching. You can see all our videos on signofire.com, YeshuaIsComing.com, and of course this YouTube channel. Thank you.